Well, good morning. My oven just beeped. It's saying it's ready. I'm not ready, though. And it is morning. It's only 10 o'clock. As promised, yesterday I was going to do these, well, they're like cinnamon rolls, but they're not cinnamon rolls. The filling is a canned pie filling, which is your cherries. And then we're going to dollop them at the end with sweetened cream cheese. These are so good. I don't know why I don't make them more often, but I just don't. I don't know why. But they're easy, easy, easy. Now, I made this dough a couple of days ago with a hope of making these yesterday. So the dough's been in the refrigerator for 2 days, and it's just fine. Actually, it's going to be even more flavorful since it's been in the refrigerator than if you just made it up. Now, those that have not seen how I make dough before, you can go back. There's several videos that have the full process of how to make this dough in the bread machine. It's just all your ingredients in the bread machine. Leave it in there and let it knead the dough and let it first rise for an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, and then you have dough. But aside from that, I'm sure you're aware that you can get dough already made at the grocery store. You can get pizza dough, regular dough, and also you don't have to have yeast dough to do this. You can do this with your croissants, with biscuit dough. So there's a lot of different applications you can use this particular recipe with. I just happen to do dough. I'm always making dough and using it in some fashion, whether it's a savory, sweet, bread, Danish. Like later this afternoon, I'm making a large amount of cornbread for an event here in Solivito for a dear friend of mine. So let's get started with this. There's just three things to consider when doing this. Just flour your board, because any of you that have made cinnamon rolls in the past, this is basically the very, very same thing. Do my hands, a roller, get the dough out. This dough is so soft too. Look at that. You don't have to mess with it much. Just get it out on the board, flour it, and roll it out. I'm try to get it into a nice little rectangle. Like I said, the oven is already preset for 350, and I keep a pan. I sacrificed one of my baking pans with a 2-inch lip on it, just a little loaf pan that I keep in there. So when I'm baking, I put 2 cups of water in there, and it creates a moist environment. It just helps with the rising of your breads and your pastries. See how easy this rolls out? Can you see that? It's just so, so simple. Hardly takes any effort at all to create this rectangle. You just don't have to, take your dough and be rough with it and fold it and mold it, and, you just don't have to do that. Just take it out of its container once it's risen, especially like right out of the refrigerator like I just did. You saw what I did, and all I'm doing is just making a rectangle here with it, or a semblance thereof of a rectangle. It looks like a rectangle to me. So just keep it floured because you don't want it to stick. Just leave some up there. Okay. Now I got probably more pie filling and cream cheese, and I'm going to use especially the cream cheese, but I have plans for that later on. I'm going to do a coffee cake, and I'm going to put that in the coffee cake up at the top to with the fruit. Okay, that looks good enough. We want to try to get 12 out of this. You should be able to get 12, so that's what you're shooting for. Hey, Rosie, what are you doing, huh? What you doing? My dogs are up early this morning. I was up at 6:30 this morning. I wanted to take them out for a little bit of fresh air before it got too hot. Okay, there you have it. So the only thing we're going to do is take our cherries. So you're not putting butter, oil, sugar, none of that stuff on here. Just put your pie filling in here, spread it out. And don't put more than what you think you're going to need, because as this bakes, what happens, it will, just like if it was in a pie, it's going to bubble up, get hot, and seep out, and you're going to have a sticky mess. So just err on the side of caution and do less than what you think you'll need, because less is plenty. And ask me how I know this. I know it. Unfortunately, I know it too well, because I experiment all the time with stuff, with recipes, and you know, you just, when you do that, you just keep going a little bit more and a little bit more, and before long you figure out, you know, that's just too much. So that's pretty much it. Now, I've not used the cherry pie filling before, but I did make one with the pineapple. So the cherries, them being this size, I don't think it's going to cause a problem. It shouldn't, because these are just twirls. Actually, the name of the recipe is cherry cheesecake yeast twirls. Okay, we're just going to roll it up, just like this was cinnamon and sugar. Just be careful. Just don't try not to get that syrupy interior on your hands. See how this is going? And you're going to end up here with that extra. So be prepared to maybe take some of that out, which I'm going to do, because I don't want that to be all messy. Take this back. So you have room to wipe my hands off. I don't want to get those on the outside if I can help it. There you go. And make use of your your rollers and stuff to roll this. Okay, now you want to take this, bring it forward, like so. See how I'm making a mess out of this? There we go. You want to pinch it. My hands. Pinch it. Make sure it's tucked in on the edges. I'm trying to keep that from falling out as much as possible. You can do this with fresh fruit as well. Probably be better with fresh fruit, I would imagine. Won't be as, you know, runny. Should have done that. Or frozen. You go with frozen. Frozen would work out just fine. Come on, you pinch there. And roll this over. Just like a cinnamon roll. Going to be a little bit messier than cinnamon rolls because you have all that cherry filling in there. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm using a serrated knife, and the ends may be a bit of a mystery, but we'll see. So let's see what we have here. That phone has been ringing all morning. I'll put it right in here like so. Sorry about the phone. There we go. Pretty. Yeah, those cherries are big. Just be prepared that they're going to be large when you roll it up. And you don't want to crowd your pan too much because these are going to rise. So 2/4. We're going to get 6 in this pan. I'll have to get another pan. And make sure you grease your pan heavily. And if you have parchment, put your parchment in there. Move these down just a bit to give them room to rise. There you go. They look like they're going to be delicious. Okay, let's set that to the side. Let me rinse my hands and grab another pan. There you go. Thank goodness for extra pans. I have a ton of bakeware though because I'm always baking something or experimenting. And try to keep parchment on hand because if nothing else, it saves your pans. And it gets all the sticky stuff on it. Okay. And we will continue. The dough's getting warm too. Doesn't help. Yeah, the pineapple didn't have, the large pieces of fruit in it like this does. I think this will taste better than the pineapple just because of that fruit, but it's actually just the handling of it. So for a novice baker, this may be more than what you should tackle the first time. I'd probably just do pineapple, crushed pineapple or blueberries where the fruit is a little bit smaller. Rinse my hands again. And all we're going to do here is take our cream cheese. I'm going to put it over here so you can see what I'm doing. About a teaspoon and tuck it right in the middle of your twirls like so. And as that cooks or bakes, it's going to spread out and seep in your little twirls. A bit more in that one. And I hope this turns out good. There we go. And look amazing. Now what I am going to do is put a little bit of egg wash on top. It kind of serves two purposes. You really don't want to skip that step. It kind of seals in your fruit and your cream cheese, but it also gives it a bit of a sheen as it bakes. Just lightly, very, very lightly, just barely touch your twirls. Just like so. Now, the recipe that I had pulled up the other day with these called for a sprinkle of finishing sugar on top. But to be quite honest with you, I think that was going to be too much because we've got this pie filling, which is sweet. The the cream cheese, which has sugar in it. I forgot to tell you that the cream cheese is a block of cream cheese with 3 tablespoons of 10x sugar. So right now what we're going to do, I'm going to put this over on the stove and let it rise. Like so. This would make a great breakfast item. We're going to cover it. Let it dry out. I guess I've been using this one piece of plastic now for months. The older it gets, the better they get. And this one is a new one. I just broke out. See the difference? Okay. So we're going to let that rise. I'm going to clean up my mess. And just, you know, when that's all done, I'll bring it back before I put it into the oven so you can see what to look for. Okay? So see you then. Okay, I just want you to see what this looks like in the oven as I bake the camera. Look, aren't they beautiful? Yeah, it's hot. There's an end piece, but look. They're going to be lovely. So I'll bring it back when I bring them out. Okay, so they're out of the oven. These cook for 22 minutes exactly. I don't want them over brown because then they get tough on the outside after they sit for even like an hour or so. So you don't want them too brown. I took their temperature. They registered 186 degrees, which is, in my book, done. So with that being said, what I did, the glaze, and you can make this as heavy as you want or as light. I prefer it light so that it can kind of, because these are still rather warm, I want them to kind of, you know, sheet over these. Not to where they're going to be, you know, a glob of icing in any one spot. I kind of want them to just all over the whole top, which I did these a little bit ago, and you can see how they worked. They're really very pretty. So this is all I'm going to do. And this little bit of glaze will go all over the roll. But you have to put it on while it's warm. Even hot, you can do this. I actually prefer putting it on when they're right out of the oven. And they're so tasty. Now you can put any filling you want, any topping. You can flavor the glaze with any kind of extract you have, orange juice, apple juice. But these make such a nice little breakfast. You can even top these with like crushed pecans, walnuts. Sky's the limit. There we go. They really are very pretty. But like I was saying before when I rolled them up, if you're new to this, I would recommend that you actually start with like pineapple or blueberry. Because these cherries being so large, rolling them up, they want to fall out. And I just think it would be less of a hassle for you to learn on something a little less cumbersome rolling up. And I'm running out of plate room. But aren't these pretty? Let me show you one again. They freeze also, so I'll end up freezing these because there's no way we're going to be eating these. And that little bit of, there you go. A great little brunch recipe that takes almost no time to make. A little bit of skill, but not that much. if you take your time, learn how to handle your dough, you can do almost anything, and you can make this savory or sweet. One application that I really want to try is like yesterday I made my daughter what they call a cheeseburger pie with Bisquick. I was thinking of taking some of that filling and doing something similar to this and making this in a savory recipe. So until a little bit later, I'm going to let you go. You have a good one until we meet again later this afternoon. Well, we've made it to another recipe today. The rolls turned out pretty well. I probably won't do the cherry pie filling again, though. I'm going to stick with the smaller fruit, like blueberries or the mixed fruit, like that you get in the frozen bags, or even like a strawberry that has been crushed a bit would be really good. And pineapple is always a great go-to for this recipe. The cherry, my husband absolutely loved it. He said it had a wonderful taste and it looks beautiful. It really came out nice. And I froze all but 3 of those. So they'll be good, taken out, brought to room temperature, zapped in the microwave with a cup of coffee. The issue with the cherries, though, you can't smash those like you can the other fruits to where they're more pulp. They're just a little bit more difficult to work with. So other than that, I mean, they're fine. And the one thing that I was even thinking about doing is to put them in the food processor. But still, I think you're going to have those skins. The skins on the cherries. So chances are I probably won't use the cherry pie filling again for this recipe. I love the cherry pie filling for pies and things like that. And cherry pie filling makes a beautiful ice cream, a cherry ice cream in the ice cream maker. I've done that a lot, and everybody likes that. So I just wanted to, bring up to speed of where we were, what I did with all of those Danish. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of them. It made 10, 6, 7, yeah, I made 10. Sam ate 1, I ate a half of 1. I've got 3 in a baggie on the counter for us to nibble on the next few days and put the rest in the freezer. So I just want to wish you the rest of your day, if that's even a phrase. And also take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. And check on your neighbors, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors. With that, I send you a great big goodbye, and thank you for visiting.